Hello everyone. Today we have with us Yashni Nagraj, who secured All India rank 57 in this year's Civil Services exam. What makes her achievement more noteworthy is the fact that she achieved the rank while she was working as a manager in the RBI. Without much further ado, let us say hi to Yashni. Hi Yashni.
Hi, sir.
Yashni, so the civil service preparation journey has been a pretty long one for you. I think it's almost 5 years.
That's it, sir.
So, can you take us through the journey, the 5 years, and the emotions associated with it?
Yes, sir. As you said, sir, my UPSC journey has been quite long. This was my fourth attempt, and in the first attempt, I could not clear the prelims. That was back in 2015, I think. And then every time I cleared mains, I reached the interview stage. I gave 3 mains and 3 interviews, and previously I had gotten into 834th rank, and I got 834th rank, and I had gotten into Indian Railway Account Service. So, and that was back in 2017. In 2018, I could not get any service. I could not make it to the list. So that was one of the lowest years in my preparation. But that time, my parents supported me, and I also looked back on my deficiencies in the preparation and where all I had scored lesser marks. So I took a year break. As I was a working profession, it was not an easy switch for me. So I realized that one of the areas where I was facing difficulty was my optional subject. I was not able to score very high in optional. So I decided to take a break, relax, and change my optional. And so 2018 I took a break, and 2019 I gave this my fourth attempt and my first time with a new optional, that is PSIR, and this time I'm through.
Okay. So, Yashni, you just mentioned about how you switched from one optional. I believe it was from geography
Yes,
to
sir.
PSIR.
Yes.
So, in a way, you are somebody who kind of realized that one optional is not your cup of tea,
Yes.
and had the belief to change your optional. As in, there's always a sunk cost with one optional. So, what is your advice that you would like to give to new aspirants who are about to choose an optional? What are the parameters which they should consider while choosing an optional?
So choosing an optional is one of the most important decisions of civil service preparation, and my advice to the youngsters would be, don't make the mistake that I did. What I did was, I did not have much idea about the examination process. So I came to Delhi and all my friends were taking geography, so I also took geography. Later I realized that maybe I am not very keen to read about that, or I am not as much interested in that. But that time already I had invested few months, then 1 year, then 2 years, then 3 years. So that time the cost of switching was too high. So my advice would be, first read the general studies. If you have an optional in mind, that is your graduation subject or the subject you are fond of, for example any literature subject, then go with it with conviction. But if you are confused between 2-3 optional subjects, then especially humanities optional, and maybe you are from technical background, you don't have much idea about these optionals. So my advice would be, first read the GS. There you will find which area you have a liking to. So for example, within first 2 months of my preparation, I realized that I liked polity, but I could not muster the courage to switch to polity until 2019. So it came a bit late, but I am glad I mustered the courage to change my optional and decided to go ahead with it.
So, Yashni, we were speaking about the optional. So, let's now move on to the 3 phases of the exam. There's prelims, mains, and interview, as you know. So, what was your strategy or approach towards prelims?
Sir, the best strategy or best approach towards prelims is not to divide it into silos, prelims, mains, or interview, like that. It is very important, in my opinion, to have a holistic approach. Yes, there are certain topics like world history or ethics which are out of syllabus in prelims, they are only in mains, but other than that, it is very important to study whatever we are studying in a holistic manner. For prelims specifically, we can focus maybe 1-2 months before the exam, and there we may need to focus more on the facts per se. Like in mains, the same facts we need to analyze, but in prelims the facts. So, but for both, sir, but my advice would be, or my mantra was, revise as much as you can. First finish the syllabus and revise. So revision is key to prelims, and team it up with practicing of questions. I have written about it on my blog also, sir, actually. So one example that I always cite is, there are very minute details, minute but important details. For example, salary, in polity for example, salary, allowance, office, pension of Supreme Court judge or High Court judge, which is charged on the Consolidated Fund of India. So these are the questions which while reading we may tend to miss it, but if we are revising, we may absorb it, and only if we practice it, we would be able to register such minute differences, like minute details as well. So my mantra for prelims particularly would be, finish the syllabus, revise and practice as much as you can. And I would not say that practice these many questions or these many tests, because it depends, or revise these many times, because it depends on the comfort level of each and every individual. So yes, sir, revise, practice, yeah, that's all.
So as you told, I think it's the right way is definitely to approach prelims and mains in an integrated manner. Good that you rightly pointed it out. But when we come to mains,
Yes,
we
sir.
have different GS papers, right?
Yes,
GS
sir.
1, 2, 3, 4 and the essay. Can you tell me gist of how you approach each of these papers? So even though the structure of the answers overall might be same, there are different nuances to each paper. Right? So
yes.
if you can kind of give an approach for each paper, that would be great.
Sir, GS 1, 2 and 3 can be slightly clubbed together.
Sure.
So in GS 1, 2 and 3 I followed this introduction, body, conclusion framework. In introduction, generally it could be a one-liner, like whatever catchy phrase or fact, anything. Body I tried to address both the pros and cons, and conclusion, one short conclusion, like generally progressive or anything very simple one, need not waste, the key is not to waste time on thinking about these things. Yes, sir.
Okay. What about the ethics paper?
Ethics paper, sir. Ethics is kind of enigma for me as well, sir. I have not seen the marks so far, and previously I had scored very bad in ethics as well. So I had scored 80 in ethics once and 96 once. So, but my general advice in ethics would be to focus on case studies, because that is where we can score very high also, and that is where I think mark differential also comes into play. So I tried to practice case studies and try to frame an answer for case studies, like different topics beforehand. So like certain topics will be there, ambulance is not there, or like these kind of things. So I tried to frame an answer beforehand. But ethics is still an enigma for me, so I would refrain from answering for now.
What about essay? Essay in a way is a pretty high scoring paper.
Yes, sir.
So how did you go about it?
Yes, sir. So that was one of the areas that I focused this time round, sir. And essay, for me, sir, I was kind of okay with general study type of essays like health, education, media, like these sort of essays I was okay with. What used to scare me was those psychological or ambiguous, abstract topics. Yes, so philosophical, that's right. Philosophical essays. So this time what I did, I focused more on philosophical essays. Here, sir, the blogs of Kanisha Kataria sir last year and Gaurav Agarwal sir, their blog, I took points from their blog, how they approached it. So beforehand itself, this time I practiced a lot on philosophical essays. And at the same time, certain in these GS type essays, certain essay topics are very common. They are like the exact question verbatim might not be repeated, but the theme is more or less same, like women, again health and education, polity, like the climate change, or one quote on Mahatma Gandhi, like that. So for these essays also, I try to keep a mind map ready. For example, my advice to others also would be take a pen and paper, any topic, brainstorm for 30 minutes, note down whatever comes into play and try to structure it, so that before entering the examination hall, we have these points ready, we have a like loose structure ready. And not to, if you are weak in certain aspects, like I was in these abstract type of essays, so practice it and try to like fight your fear rather than running away from the fear. It might come to haunt you lately. later. So this time also, sir, in my actual paper, I wrote one philosophical essay, which was that what is best for the individual may not be best for the nation, or like that one essay was there. So I attempted that, and it was a very satisfactory attempt. Yes.
So, Yashni, let's come to interview now, the next phase of the exam. So, how was your whole interview process? And was there any drastic change? You mentioned that you went to interviews 3 times before.
Yes, sir.
This was your 4th interview.
No, sir. This was actually my 3rd interview.
This was your 3rd interview.
Yes, sir.
You have gone for interview twice before.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, what were the things that you tried to change specifically this year, and how did you go about it?
So what was different in this time? This time my interview was, let us go back to 2018, sir. 2018, as I said, it was a very low year for me. I drew a blank in the list. I could not get any service. So that was a very low year for me, and yeah, after that, I'm very proud of myself that I picked myself up. As I said, my parents also supported me a lot, and that in a way helped to forge a stronger me. So this time, going forth in interview, I was very bold, sir. Very bold. I am not being very self-promoting or something, but I was very bold. I was not scared in a way, even if I do not know anything. In this way, sir, mock interviews at Fortune also help. So even if I am not knowing anything, I had that courage to say that I do not know, but if you permit me, I would like to try. So this was something that was missing in my previous interview. The initial questions, like bouncers came, I was not able to tackle them, so I was like scared for the rest of the interview. But this time it was not like that. This time I owned it up, whatever it was.
Great.
In fact, sir, if I would like to add, I would like to add that this time, in fact, I even humbly disagreed with the chairman. He had asked me one question, like, for example, post-pandemic world, what do you think would define the partnerships in the world arena? So I said that at this point where economies are battered due to the pandemic, economic resilience will be one critical factor, and who has economic power has military and political power as well, so that would shape the world affairs. Then to that he said that, don't you think technology will be a key area? Then he said that, I think technology will be one deciding factor for partnerships, world partnerships. So I said that, sir, I would like to humbly disagree here. I think partnerships will lead to technological sharing. It's not that having technology will lead to partnerships, because it is also important that the other countries trust the country, trust the nation and the technology. Trust the nation to trust in their technology. For example, what we are seeing with Huawei. So it is that partnerships, if countries are already into partnership, then they will go for technology sharing as well. It's not vice versa, that if country has technology, then others will go for partnership like that. So chairman was Bharat Bhushan Vyas sir. He was also very impressed, and he said good also. Yes, I like that point of view, good. That way he said.
So that was definitely bold, disagreeing with the chairman.
Yes, sir.
But good that you had solid points to back up.
Yes, sir.
Good, Yashni. So you were a working professional.
Yes, sir.
While you were attending the exam the past couple of years. So time is a resource which is constrained for even people who are fully into this. But as a working professional, time is at a premium.
Yes, sir.
So how did you go about your time management while being a working professional?
Yes, sir. So as a working professional, yes, sir, time is a luxury. But I made a point to schedule my everything. So every day I would try to squeeze in 4 or 5 hours after office. And newspaper was something that I tried to finish in office only, not that I would open the paper and read in front of everyone, but like for example in my lunch break I would read 2 articles, or tea break 2 articles. That way I tried to finish newspaper in office, and after office hour every weekday I would try to squeeze in 4 to 5 hours. Then weekends I would try to stretch, and even consolidate whatever my learnings for the entire week is. I would try to consolidate on weekend. And sir, Yes, time is a constraint, but for all the working professional, I would like to say that don't consider it as a debilitating factor. Others may be there, they have the whole day at hand, but how we utilize the time also that matters. Not how many hours we are sitting on the chair or table, but how many hours we are like utilizing as well, diligently or with concentration. So yes, sir, one thing that worked in my favor was making a schedule and being continuous, and it's okay if one day or the other day we might want to relax. So in that schedule itself, like I would say, don't make it a very tight schedule. Allow room for breathing, allow room for yourself to breathe. So I would always keep a buffer as well, like if one day I'm not feeling well or I don't want to study, so keep a buffer as well. So that helped me. So I got hardly 10 days for my prelims, 10 days leave for my prelims and a month leave for my mains examination. So mains was in September and I got leave in August only. So all my tests also I wrote in August except the essay test. So yes, sir, with proper scheduling, even with a job or even if you are a student somewhere, it's manageable.
Okay. Along with time management, stress management is also equally important. And you had a pretty long journey.
Yes.
So how did you manage your stress levels during this process? What was your support system?
Sir, having very supportive parents was the biggest support system that I could have asked for. They were always with me. They never, to begin with, they never pushed me into this process also, and even after I had a good job, well-paying job with RBI, they never even mentioned that now you would like to take a break, would you like, so that in a way I feel very blessed. I had the full support of my parents. And other than that, sir, I had the cushion of a very good job, sir, RBI. And even, sir, the fact that I was financially secure, and it was not that my life is stagnant, I am not moving anywhere. I had my own career which was going at a normal pace. Whatever was coming, whatever I was trying for was a bonus. But it's not that my life was on hold for something. So that was a good psychological support also, sir, having a sound job. And other than that, my hobby is traveling. So as I said, I took a break, and the process was becoming very taxing every year, prelims, mains, interview cycle. So I took a break, I traveled for good, I went to Sri Lanka, I went to Bali, so my own money.
Okay.
So so that way, that also acted as a stress buster, sir.
Great. So we have like 1 month to go for the next year prelims, and that's prelims 2020. Is there any last minute tips that you draw out from your own strategy that you want to give to the aspirants taking prelims this year?
Sir, the most important thing now with 1 month to go would be time management. So for that, making a schedule helps, so that like last moment we don't feel panicky that, oh, this much thing I have not covered. So best thing would be to go for schedule. And in my opinion, avoiding reading anything new would be a good idea at this point of time. And one more thing I would say is identify your mistakes. It doesn't help if you say that I have given 30-40 tests, but you are repeating the same mistakes, but expecting different results. That doesn't help. So identify your mistakes. In prelims, for example, if you are doing easy questions wrong, generally theoretical questions, so that is a red warning. Please do not go ahead, revise properly, build your theoretical base, only then you go ahead. If your, for example, unconventional questions are getting wrong, that is still you can find out in which area it's getting wrong. Is it science and technology, or is it polity, or which area is it? So one thing that now you can do is course correction if there is any need, like find out your weak points, focus on those areas so that you make those mistakes now and correct it, so that like in the real prelims you do not make those mistakes. And revision would be the key. Revision not just of theoretical part but also current affairs. So current affair booklet was one thing that I used to religiously revise. Yeah, I read them like textbook only. So current affairs is very important and theoretical both. Revision, and I also revised these questions, prelims questions, for example, prelims mock test questions which I may not know, so that I don't make the same mistakes again. I would go back to that question and revise that question as well. So yes sir, so revision would be the key now, and time management.
Okay. So I think it's a pretty good strategy, especially given that you have cleared all the 3 prelims which you
Yes.
recently wrote over the last 3 years.
After the first one.
Yes, yes. Good. So thanks a lot, Yashni.
Yes.
It was pretty genuine, honest, and insightful answers.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm pretty sure that your journey would be inspiring to a lot many people who are kind of wondering whether they are in the right place by the 3rd year or the 4th attempt. They start to doubt themselves
Yes,
a
sir.
lot. So I'm pretty sure there will be inspiration for many. So thank you. And I also understand that you write a blog
Yes,
where you
sir.
detail out your strategy, your answer writing
Yes, sir.
approach, and all. So it would be great if you could also mention that, and we'll also provide the link to your blog in the description so that the students can refer.
Yes, sir. Sir, as you rightly said, sir, after 3rd year or after 3-4 attempts, self-doubt creeps in. But it is very important to keep believing in yourself. If I can do it, you can also do it. Otherwise, if anyone can do it, you can also do it. So that self-doubt should never be a thing. And for answer writing, sir, thank you for mentioning, sir. I have detailed out whatever I know in that on my blog. There is an article, and I have also uploaded all my answer scripts, mock papers, whatever I had written last year. I have uploaded. I hope it is beneficial to students.
Sure, that will be pretty beneficial. So we'll provide the link in the description. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.